So what is going on, guys? I am BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome yourselves back to another zombies video. Hopefully you're all having a fantastic day. But today we're going to be taking a look at the radios within GOROD KROVI. Now these are very interesting. For me, they are not like the usual radios we get within the map. Usually we get some ones that tell us about other things that aren't really related too much as to what we're doing. Whereas in this explains everything about GOROD KROVI, about the machines, about the Valkyries, about these Gigant robots or Gigant robots, however you pronounce it, in the map. So it's a very cool bunch of radios to actually listen to. Now so far I've only found 4. I've heard rumours that there are 5. However, in the future I do want to overlook these to find out more information. But today, here are all of the radios that I have found. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you do, remember to drop a like rating, as it really helps me out. But anyway, let's get into it. Here we go. So the person that you hear speaking in these radios is Sophia, who, as we know right now in GOROD KROVI, is a machine. So here we are, take a listen, and I'll be back after to explain things a little bit more. Enjoy.
Now that the 115 contamination of the Red Army is complete, the Valkyrie drones have been programmed to probe the ruins of the city. They will find any resistance trains and attempt capture. As directed by Dr. Grov, I have updated Valkyrie 7 and 8 to penetrate enemy lines in an effort to secure any survivors for study. Regrettably, however, contact with Valkyrie 8 was lost after it engaged one of the targets. Directive log 240.2. Though German Dragon units have proven devastating to the Russian ground forces, the enemy have nonetheless found a weakness to exploit. A prototype weapon known as the Assalon Lance uses 115 charged rounds to weaken and penetrate their hide. The Russians have been quick to retrofit this new weapon onto their surviving mech units. Directive log 223.1. Though it appears to be a slightly inferior copy of the German Riese model, the Russian Gigant robot has proven to be a formidable unit. Unlike the Riese, the Gigant is armed with a high-energy beam weapon fired from the cranial dome. Like the Riese, its highly durable construction
takes more than a little slap to rattle this, Doctor.
However, the robot was never designed to withstand dragon attacks.
Sometimes I dream of this in my sleep.
Directive log 203.2. Specimen 33 is no longer responding to recall frequencies with 100% consistency. It is essential that this behavior is corrected before Dr. Grov's inspection of our forward hatchery next week. I have made several frequency adjustments that I believe may correct the undesired behaviors. Commencing test. Imprinting frequency modification. All personnel, evacuate the area.
So the first radio talks about the 115 contamination with the Red Army, about how the Valkyrie drones created by Group 935, about how their main objective was to find any resistance trace, any person living in the city, any Russian that hadn't been killed by the Germans or the giant robots. These Valkyrie drones were built to find any last resistance and attempt to capture them for Dr. Grov. But also about how Grov had created Valkyries 7 and 8 to penetrate enemy lines in an effort to secure any survivors for study. And however, contact with Valkyrie 8 was lost after it engaged on one of the targets. She also goes on to talk about how the German Dragon units have provided devastation to the Russian ground forces. But she says that the Russians have nonetheless actually found a weakness to exploit the Dragons, a prototype weapon known as the Asnoland, which uses a 115 charge round to weaken and penetrate their hide. She says the Russians have been quick to retrofit this new weapon onto their surviving mech suits. As we see, Richthofen is in one of those Russian mech suits, and on the mech suit's arm, what Richthofen starts shooting at in the opening cutscene, shoots at these dragons with one of these Asnolans, which, as I said, is a 115 charge round used to weaken and penetrate the dragon's hide, and that is how the Russians would kill them. She then goes on to talk about the Russian Gigant Obert. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, but these are the Russian versions of our Origins robots. She tells us that although these appear to be slightly inferior copies of the German giant robots, the Gigant has proved to be a formidable unit unlike the Reese, or the Giant. The Gigant, or Gigant, is armed with a high energy stream weapon, and it's cool because the Russians have actually taken this design of these giant robots from Group 935 and used it for themselves, but they've actually changed their robots around. Unlike the ones at Doris, these Russian mech suits, these Russian giant robots, can actually use laser beams from their eyes as heat to kill the Germans. She finishes with saying, however, these Russian robots were never designed to withstand dragon attacks, leaving it extremely vulnerable to their fire. Hence why we see our downed robots, GOROD KROVI, because of the fire from the dragons. These robots could not withstand that. It did not expect to get fire blown all over them by these dragons, and so have been destroyed. And then the final one says Specimen 33 is no longer responding to the collar, where she basically goes on to tell us that they can't control one of the dragons and that all personnel have to quickly evacuate the area, as Sophia is commencing tests on this dragon. So as you can see, these videos give you a good idea and tell you about the events that are going down in GOROD KROVI. I said there may be another radio out there that I can't find, and we will be looking over these in the future anyway, but if we do get one, I'll be sure to update you over on Twitter or in the description of this video for you guys to read. I think that'd be a good idea. If I do find the audio, I'll be sure to update you guys. I'll leave it in the first section of the description for you to read if you want to. So thank you for watching the video, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Leave a like rating if you have. Be sure to subscribe. That is really, really helpful to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a comment saying Sophia is a crazy bitch. No, I don't know. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.